Hi, this is the Meri Atelier. This is Meri at the Meri Atelier. And I am going to do a live session again tonight. I think I have it set up correct, but I'll know when people come in and tell me. I do experience some quality issues with my videos. That is to be expected because, hi, Artie Jackie, I always stumble over your name. Hi, hey, can you tell me how is it looking to you? Is my table looking as it should? Is it in landscape mode? I'm just fine. Thank you very much. And how are you doing? Good, good. All right. I just got signed in. So, all right. So it is looking okay in landscape mode. Hi, Ian. Good to see you here, sir. I'm just getting started. Ian, is it looking okay to you as far as landscape mode? Good, good, okay. And I know I tend to talk a little bit louder. I don't know why. I feel like I'm shouting across the world when I'm doing live videos. Okay, I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to come in. I'm going to be, of course, working in this art journal and another one that I want to show you guys. You saw it if you watched my video today where I did my Happy Mail. Nancy sent me a wonderful book and I'm going to start doing. Hi, Eva. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, my sound volume. I am finding I am talking directly over the camera. And when I listen to my videos again, I can hear me taking breaths like, you know, like I'm going gulp. So the microphone on this camera really does pick up the sound. So I'm trying not to talk so loud, but I feel like, oh, I got to talk to everybody. And anyway, I'm going to wait for just a few more minutes. Let's look at, I did not have time to go back in and work on this page. I want to white out this cloud. And, well, I'm okay with Don't Cry Over Moldy, but I want to put bread down here. So I'm going to white out this part and put blue in there and put a cloud down here and put bread over there. And I think I'm going to add some dark brown on this side of the page. This is really like a cobblestone street, a dark brown or gray to kind of match the cobblestone in here. But I didn't have a chance to work on it last week, so that's something I need to do. That was the last one we did. And then prior to that, I did this one, which really turned out nice. And this is the one I'm going to work on tonight. I'll come back to that. This was my very first one. It's not really too bad. I've played around with this title a couple times. You can always tell the first one you're getting a sense of what you want to do in the book. And then I believe this was the second one we did. And I have one more in here, I believe. Yeah, the play ball one. So, well, I'm just going to go ahead because I don't want you guys to be sitting and looking at nothing. This is the page that I'm going to work in tonight. And I'll probably talk about this and repeat it as people come in. But this is about children standing in front of one of those trick mirrors, you know, like at a circus. I don't know what they're called, but the title of it is Imagine This. When you look into a funhouse mirror, you see yourself in a way you never imagined. And when you look at the paintings and the statues in this section, you will see artists use their imaginations to show things in ways that you've never imagined. So this is showing some kids standing in front of a funhouse mirror. Now, the color on this page is black and white and gray. So, color, what, am I going to bring gray over there? No, I don't think so. So, what I did, if you watched my Happy Mail video, you will have seen that, let me get it out here. Nancy sent me this wonderful, wonderful photo that I just got a giggle out of. I love it. I love it. Those kids are sticking out their tongues. So I said, this has to go in my reverse collage book. And so I started looking through this today going, what page am I going to put it on? And I ran across this Imagine This mirror one. And I'm going, perfect, just perfect. Except I don't want to cut this up. I don't want to cut it. So the little story about this is Friday. I live in a small town, and I was going to go to the library and return some books and take a photocopy of this. Well, I got to the library and it was closed on Friday afternoon. Oh, I can't make a copy. Well, I said, is this you in the pic? No, not me. Not me. This was given to me. This was a image sent to me by Nancy in some Happy Mail. This is actually and I don't know where she got it. It's like a magazine photo, a magazine picture. And she sent it to me in some Happy Mail. And I think I can use it because I am using this journal for my own personal use. This isn't anything that I'm trying to sell or commercially take advantage of or anything like that. I'm just putting this in my own personal art journal. So I want to use this picture on this page. But as I was saying, I got to the library and I couldn't make a photocopy of it because the library was closed. So I said, well, I'm just going to put my books in the book return and be done with it. I'll make a photocopy someplace else. And I did that, and I drove away, and I go, oh no. Was that photo with those books that I put in the book return? The library was closed. It won't open till tomorrow morning. What am I going to do? And I go, well, maybe I forgot it. Maybe I actually forgot the picture. I'll have to drive home and see. Well, luckily, that's what happened. So I drove home, and I went someplace else to see if they were open where I could make photocopies, and they weren't open. And the other place was public place where I could make a photocopy was in another town 16 miles away, and I didn't want to do that just to make a photocopy. So my brother said, call the bank. So I called the bank where he banks, and I said, would you make a photocopy for me? Because I don't want to cut this one up. I want to keep this one. I think this one is just too sweet. Of these kids sticking out their tongues. They're just out having fun. You know? So I go, it really will go with this page where these kids are looking into the fun, into the mirrors. If you come in, I'm bumping my camera here because I'm trying to see comments. If you come in, say hello, so I know, so I can say hello back to you. So that's what I'm going to do. I went to the bank and I explained, I said, oh, every place was closed and I don't want to drive 16 miles to get a photocopy made. Would you make a photocopy, I'll pay you, I'll pay you. And yeah, I see that. Hi, Shauna. Welcome. So anyway, she made it for me, a photocopy. She actually made two for me. The other one's over on the other side of my room. And she said, I'll make, you can have it. That's what she said. She didn't even make me didn't even charge me for it. So what I want to do is, let me get out a pen and a scissors here. I have a definite idea of what I want to do on this page. Laura, let's see. Hi, Laura. Let's see. Oh, Laura, hi. I didn't see you walk in. So this is the text that says, imagine this. And this is a Childcraft encyclopedia. It's a book that I'm altering. And this particular book is all about art. Everything in here is about art. And I'm going through on different pages and doing reverse collage on them. Reverse collage in the sense that you look at an image on a page, and instead of cutting it out and collaging it down to another page, you paint out everything else around that picture or whatever it is that you want to use, and leave this or leave the image and do art around it. And that's what I did on this page. This was a painting by Renoir of Julia Monet and her cat. So I painted out, I brought the colors out. There was pinks and yellows and tans, and I brought all those colors out onto the page. I left the text and I left the painting alone. I collaged a photograph of another young girl, and there are fairies. She's pictured with fairies. So I gave Julia a playmate. And then the little fairies, I made little fairy sketches of and collaged them around. So that's sort of what I want to do here. I want to leave this text. The picture on this side is of young kids, and they're looking into a fun mirror at like a fair. And the text says, I've already read it, but I'll read it again for those of you who didn't make it in when I read it. It says, imagine this. When you look into a funhouse mirror, you see yourself in a way that you've never imagined. And when you look at the paintings and the statuses in this section, you will see how, hi Lottie, how artists can use their imaginations to show things in other ways than that you have never imagined. And it's going to go into different paintings. This is one of the gardener by, I can't even pronounce his name. It's painted on oil on a wood, about 1590. But it's a human that's constructed out of vegetables. So this whole chapter is about looking and seeing things in ways that you're not used to, and it's using your imagination. But I love these kids, and I love this picture that Nancy sent. So I'm going to save my text. So I'm just going to kind of make a line around here, a little fancy line, just to let me know that I want to save that text. Now there's no color on this page. There's no color except for black and white, and there's no color here. So I kind of been wrestling with what color. Hi Nancy. Nancy, look what I'm going to use. Nancy is the person who sent me this photograph, only I'm not going to use the original, Nancy. I made a copy. Let me put the original over to the side here so I don't mess it up. I made a photocopy. What is aqua tinting? I would imagine it would be a way that you could... Is somebody else talking about aqua tinting here? Oh, it looks like photo aqua tinting. Ian, do you want to explain to us what you mean by photo aqua tinting? Because I don't want to venture into that. You're talking about this photograph. So while Ian does that, I'm just going to continue on talking. I'm trying to decide what colors to put over here. And this is all black and white, and my photo's in black and white. So I'm going, do I want to go bright or do I want to go subtle? I'm thinking. Any suggestions? What would you do? I'm going, while that's going on, I'm going to get some wax paper out here and divide it in half. That may not be the right way that I want to do that. Maybe I should have gotten a larger piece. Ian, what did you mean by aqua tinting? We want to know. I'm not going to go there because Ian talked about it, and I don't want to mislead you into something that he isn't thinking. It's like colorizing photos. Hi, Anne. Welcome. And I'm just getting a start on this. You know, I don't like it that I didn't pull out enough wax paper. I'm going to get another sheet. The coloring of black, let's see, I have to look at that again. Ian says aqua tinting is the coloring of black and white photos with a muted color that was popular in the 30s and the 40s. Thank you, Ian. Huh. Muted colors. Maybe that's what I should go for. Shades of gray. Muted colors. Let's see. Let's put it this way. It probably was. This book was published in 1960. Well, this book was published in 1970. Gray and yellow. That's a good idea. And you know, in fact, those were the colors. Well, I got peach for the faces, but I actually pulled, well, that's beige, where I pulled my gray. I actually pulled gray, yellow, and peach. So I think I'll go with that suggestion. I think that's a good suggestion, grays and yellows. Gonna put it there. And I'm gonna say thank you very, very, very much to Nancy for sending me her Happy Mail package. She sent me a book that I'm going to show you later after I do this. I want to work on this first, and this is the photocopy, and I'm going to fussy cut here. And let me tell you, it is so much easier to cut into photocopies than originals. And this was a free photocopy courtesy of my local bank. Well, actually, it's the bank where my brother banks. I begged. I said, every place else is closed on Friday, and I have to drive 16 miles to the nearest photocopy. Please, can I make a photocopy? And they were very gracious and let me make a photocopy. So I could do this tonight. I said, I just want it for my scrapbook, is what I told them. So I don't want to cover this up. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to separate her and put her on this side of the page and the young boys and put them over there. And I think I'm going to get rid of, hi, I'm just going to call you Scrappin'. Oh, Lisa! Not Lisa, Leslie. I saw your screen idea. Leslie chats with us, or was chatting with us, in Cindy's Google Hangouts on Tuesdays. And now she's dealing with 22 kindergartners, which tires me out when I hear about it. You have to have a lot of energy for 22 kindergartners. So I am going to fussy cut their heads out here. And I'm going to remove this portion. Yeah. You have to have a lot of energy. Let's see. I think I'm just going to go like this. And when I fussy cut, especially when I'm fussy cutting live, I do not try to get right next to the object. I think if you notice in some of my work that I've done, I just go just about maybe 1/8 of an inch. And then that way, if I goof, it isn't a ridiculous goof. But it does leave, like if there's a black, if this were all black, it would leave a black outline around it. And sometimes I like that, and sometimes I don't. But I do not pretend to be the most skilled fussy cutter. But let me tell you, what Nancy sent to me really impressed me with the fussy cutting. The circles and the hearts. And so I'm going to separate this young lady from the young men and put her on one side of the page. You know, and I'm not thinking straight here. I should put the paint down first. Grays and yellows. Here, we're going to use this yellow because this one's, that one is. And I think I'll even bring some of the yellow over on this side of the page. And I'm going to put this down so it can dry while, while I'm doing the cutting. And I just put a little up in there, just a teeny bit. And the gray, I don't want to hold, this is a darker gray, so I might need to add some white. And I did pull a white. Grays and yellow were a good suggestion, I think. Hi, Lucia. Good to see you. I'm scrolling back to see if I missed anybody. Janet. Hi, Janet. Welcome. And if I missed hellos to anybody else, hello, speak up. I'm going to put a little white on here too, just to kind of mix it with this gray. Is awfully dark. And I always think, now I got to get down in here in the gutters of this book. Is right, this page is right smack dab in the middle, I think, of the book. Ooh, I like how it lightens up this page. And get my little paint rag out here. It's too much. Let's bring a little of the gray in there. I think this reverse collage is a really good technique if you're just starting out doing live sessions, because there's not a lot of precision to doing this, especially if you're using your fingers to paint with. And on this particular page, all I'm doing is painting the white space in the margins. Let's bring some of that gray over here. What happened to my white? I want some more white. And I will say, I am on my phone. You all know that. If my video pops off, if I disappear, I've lost my data connection. Sit tight, I'll be right back. All I have to do, YouTube is still going. It's really interesting. The YouTube application on my mobile phone is still running. All I have to do is hit the button to reconnect. But that's happened to me the last couple weeks. And I'm just going to... This will all get mostly covered up down here. I'll show you what I'm thinking of for that. And I'm watching the painting and I'm not watching the chat, so if somebody walked in, welcome. I missed it. And I just kind of want to, most of this will get covered up too, you'll see. Now I want to do something in here, not too much, but I do want something. Let's lighten this up a little. And in fact, I think what I'll do is grab a paper towel and maybe just lighten it that way. Maybe bring some of this over in here. Not too much because I want them to show up. Give it a border sort of. Just sort of like that. And let's see if I can't smooth the paint out around here. I'm using just a plain paper towel to do this. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of draw some of that over into the text area. Not too much because I want to be able to still read the text. Ian, you are doing such a wonderful job with those watercolor of the month images that you're doing. Beautiful job. I've enjoyed every one of them. There. Now I'm just going to kind of let that air dry. Let me wash my hands off a little, and then I'm going to continue fussy cutting. I just got the biggest kick out of this picture with these kids sticking their tongues out. Isn't that just like them? Go ahead and post your YouTube channel, Ian. Ian is an admin on the My Year 2017 Facebook group too. My Year 2017 is a Facebook group hosted by Gina Ahrens and Cindy Seinzutter, Julie Bellini, Jerry Bellini. I'm sorry, Jerry. Jerry just walked in. Jerry, hi. I called you Julie. I meant Jerry. And Ann Williamson. And Ian is an admin, and Lisa Swank is an admin. A really fun Facebook group. They keep you hopping, they keep you moving, they keep you inspired. I tell them that there's always something going in that group, and that's what... There. Now I want her to go up in here. Now, you'll see more of this. Look at the shadows down here. Welcome, welcome, Jerry. I was just explaining about the My Year 2017 group. Kind of watching the chat, but also kind of watching where my scissors are going. Now these two young fellows, I want over on the other side of the page, and I might try to work this in up here, the top part of this photo. We'll see. But I thought this photo went so nice with these kids looking in the mirror. And the text says, "Imagine this." And I'm just going to kind of cut around his ear here. And you know, just like the scrapbooking technique, where they will take photographs that they've taken pictures of, and they'll fussy cut out people or their dogs or something like that in their photographs. That is essentially what I'm doing here. This is a scrapbooking technique too. And I like it because it draws attention away from the background and focuses on the young kids or whatever element that you want to focus attention to. Now I want both of these kids on this, so I'm going to go down as far as his sword and then come over here. This is such a fun photo. Yep, Jerry, you always have something going on. And every week, one of the hosts, Jerry or Ann, Gina or Cindy, takes that week. And they all have, we have a monthly theme. They have a monthly theme that we work off of, and they all have a different take on that theme. And it's so interesting. So if you're not into doing what one of the weekly artists is doing at the time, maybe drawing is not your strength, well, wait till next week and maybe it'll be recycled, using recycled images or something like that, or collage or something, and still the same theme. Okay, so let's see, I think I want to get the bottom part of the, I'd like to leave those shadows though. I really do think I want to leave the shadows. So I'm just going to kind of cut around there. Now he'll cut off some of that text, but that's okay. And let's see, my paint's still kind of wet there. And then, I'm talking to myself here. Then I think I am going to try to fit in some of this street scene that's going on up at the top of the photo. There's a vintage car and a bus and a building, and there's actually a lady walking by here. Let's see if I can leave her in this. There. Oh, if my camera's jiggling. I'm still working in the Childcraft journal, Jerry. Just a minute. Let me dry this page, because this paint is still just a little bit wet, and I'll flip to the front. This is craft paint that I'm using. It's just apple barrel craft paint, put out by Plaid Enterprises. It dries fast. I do like it. And it's inexpensive. I get 2 of these 2 fluid ounces for $1. So 50 cents a bottle. And it's okay for doing things like this. There, I think it dries pretty fast. Now let's get these scrappies out of the way. I think I'm done with those. Okay, Jerry, this is the book that I'm working in. I've been working in this book on all my live sessions. Hi, Rosemary. Welcome. For those of you who came in later, I'm doing a page in this Childcraft encyclopedia. I'll be working in this for several weeks. I want to do as many pages in this as I can. I'm doing reverse collage in the sense that you paint out everything on the page except for what you want to keep. And in this sense, I painted out everything in the margins and the text, and then I collaged this young girl down here. And then you can do art around that. And that's what I'm doing on this page. We had a discussion at the beginning of this video what colors to use, because this page is all black and white. And the photo that I'm using is actually, let me go get the other photocopy over here. This is the photo that I'm using. This is a photocopy of a photo that Nancy sent in Happy Mail, and I just fell in love with it. It goes perfect. It goes perfect with this photo, which is young kids, and they're looking in a fun mirror, like at a circus where it distorts your images. You know, the mirror's all wavy and it distorts your images. And here, these young kids are out there they're out on the street, but it's still black and white, and they're sticking their tongues out. And I just love the expression on their faces. Look at the expression on her face. Like, can you get that tongue stuck out any further than that? I don't think so. And this young guy has a sword. And I'm going, this is perfect for this page, but I didn't want to use the original that she sent me, so I had a photocopy made of it. And I fussy cut out these images. And I'm going to put one up here, I believe. And the other two I'm going to kind of put them right there. It'll wipe out a little of that text. And then this is the top of the photo, which is like a building and a bus. And there's a lady walking, right? You can see her head there. I'm still trying to make this out. Right in there. I know there's a lady walking in there. That's not her head. I think that's her body, and this is her head. She's carrying a purse. Sometimes when I look through my camera, I don't see it all right off. But I'm going to put that right up there. I'm going to put these here. Bring this down maybe just a little. Maybe I'll put that right in the center. Bring him down just a little. The text will be partially covered up. The text is talking about imagining and seeing things with your imagination. I think this is a fun page. Now I'm going to do some art in here. So this page isn't quite finished, but I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. I'm still using this Scotch wrinkle-free glue stick. I'm really happy with this. It's really a nice tacky glue. It's very tacky. I don't know if you can see, but look how that pulls off of my hand. It's very tacky and it's very sticky. But I am happy with it. And it seems to work really nice. I've used it on several pages, and I've used it in another glue book. I have a video coming out tomorrow. I'm thinking about when I scheduled that. Tomorrow with a glue book that I started where I've used this glue stick. I get these 2 in a package, and I pay about $1.88 at Walmart's where I found them, and I think that's fair. So I'm happy with it. It's very tacky. So I'm just going to kind of put them in here, and I'm going to use my and I don't care if I get any paint off on these guys, because I've got paint off in there, but I do want him to be well, I don't want it like that. Why didn't I get out a clean towel? Tell me, why don't I do those things? Yeah. I don't mind the yellow smear in there, but I don't want it on his face. It might be permanent. Nothing's permanent. There, that's good enough. Okay, I'm going to put that up there. I'm going to put her here. I'm going to zoom in just a little. I'm going to touch my camera so it might wiggle a little here. The table might wiggle a little. I want to try to zoom in just a teeny bit if I can. And I'll zoom back out again when I'm done with this portion. I'm going to glue her down. Yep, this glue is very tacky. And I'm going to put her right in here, I think. I want her to be on the page. Right in there. And I think I'm going to leave this, yep, I think I'm going to leave this photo up, right up here. So, is everybody looking forward to a good weekend? I was going to take off and go to a town near here and go to Hobby Lobby, but I learned that our town is having a parade tomorrow morning. And I was sitting here about 5:30 and the high school band marched by, and I thought, I gotta stay and watch the parade. So Hobby Lobby's gonna wait till next week. I was gonna do some garage sailing. I want a Christmas book, so I can, before July is over with, I'm gonna do Christmas in July. Oh! That car is going to hit his head. I don't like it there. I don't want the car hitting his head. I'm going to pick that up again. Yeah, put it over just a little. See if I can. And I'll have to flip this page and trim off. There's a little edge showing over there, but that's okay for now. I'll do that later. I gotta wash my hands off. It's getting dark in here. Ah! I hate to see this. I hate to see the summer go. Hi, Lil. I don't know what to call you, so I'm going to call you Lil. Rhonda. I guess I'll call you Rhonda. Welcome. Yeah, Lucia, Christmas in July, it's just as busy as Christmas in December, isn't it? Our whole town is having yard sales tomorrow. Oh, Jerry, Jerry, take my heart away. Jerry is the ultimate bargain hunter. Arts and Parts. Jerry's channel is called Arts and Parts, Jerry Bellini. Go check out her channel, and she just started a store, and I'm so excited about it. She's selling things that she finds at flea markets and sales, and she finds some really fun things. Oh, let's see. Who else have I missed? Betty. Betty, welcome. I am using a Scotch wrinkle-free glue stick. I get these at Walmart in the office section where they sell like the paper clips and that type of thing. Not where all the pens and pencils are, and not in the art stuff, but more in the office supply. There's some other glue sticks there too. I get 2 of these in a package, and I pay about $1.88 for them. So it's Scotch wrinkle-free glue stick, and I actually show this in my video tomorrow, but there is a lot of glue in here. I've been using it, so I'm using it down, but the glue stick itself extends a fair amount away. So I think it's for the money you pay, I think it's worth its value. I get 2 of these in a package, so it's about $1 a piece, maybe 85, 90 cents a piece. So I'm done with that, so I'm going to put it aside. Now, what I want to do is check and see if there's any more questions. Who else? Have I missed anybody else in here? Okay, Jerry. Good. Have a good evening. Now, what I want to do on here, I actually had gotten this piece of white paper out. What I want to do is, see these children here? What I want to do is, they're facing us, and I want to do, maybe I'll fold this in half. And I'm always, when I do things live, it's never exactly what I'm thinking of. But that's not going to do for me. Let me get another piece of paper. It would be fun to have a photograph image of this, but what I want to do is draw silhouettes and paint them black of these 3 children looking back at themselves, such as these children are looking in the mirror. So they are going to be looking at themselves, and they're going to be sticking their tongues out at each other, at themselves. Like he's going to be looking at him, and he's going to be sticking his tongue out at himself, and he's going to be sticking his tongue out at himself. So that's my concept here. And I'm just going to kind of rough sketch it. And I may have to go back later after I'm all finished and off camera. Go back later and clean it up. But here's this little fellow. And let's just kind of draw he's got a sword. Let's draw his head here. And I'm standing up drawing, and I'm doing this live, so bear with me. And this is all going to be painted black anyway, because this is going to be in silhouette form. So here's his shoulder. And, of course, the photo itself ends here. So I'm just going to kind of draw a straight line down this way. And his hand, he kind of got overalls coming up over this way. His hand comes out this way, and he's holding on to, And this is all going to be painted black. This is going to be in silhouette form. And his knee kind of comes up this way. And I'm just kind of roughing it. He's got a pair of shorts on. Let's give him a pair of shorts. And he's holding this sword. He's holding the sword this way, kind of, sort of. And his leg kind of comes this way. Yeah, I'm okay with this, I guess. And the shoes are always, this area of the shoe always challenges me when I'm drawing. I don't know why. Kind of like the nose, always challenges me. We'll do it like that. I might paint it out. He's got socks on. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to paint it black because it's going to be a silhouette of him looking at him. Now let's go to the next little fellow. I'm going to move my paints out of the way so I don't knock them over. Don't want paint on the rug. That would be a catastrophe. Give myself some room here to draw. Bring this over a little. Get rid of this wax paper. I'm done with this. Getting stuff out. Sometimes I get so much stuff on my desk it frustrates me. Alright. Now I'm ready to do this little fellow. And actually I think what I'm going to do is cut this little fellow out because I want to put this one right next to. I'm just going to snip this off. I seem to do better when I'm looking at him right here. So, I'm going to start with his shoulder area here, in here, and just kind of lightly sketch him this way. And I'm watching my paper and not the camera, so I'm not seeing anything that's being said. He's got his hands behind his back here. And he's sticking out his tongue, that's for sure. He's got big ears. Of course, my fussy cutting around them doesn't make them any smaller. I don't want to give him too large of a head. I might have the head a little bit too large. Let's make him a little smaller. And this is all going to be painted, so my little sketchy lines aren't bothering me. He's got a shirt on that has sort of a, and he's got little suspenders on his shorts. What boys wear suspenders with their shorts in today's world? Although I saw something last fall. I was having my coffee in the morning, and I looked out the window about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I saw these young boys walking to school. And I got the biggest kick out of one little fellow because he still had his robe on. And he was wearing his robe, you know, like a pajama robe. He was wearing it like a jacket. I got the biggest kick out of watching him walk to school. Hopefully he had shirts and shoes and appropriate attire underneath, but I got the biggest kick out of him. And I knew it was his robe. I mean, it was really obvious. And I'm going, that's not worrying what people think about you. Now he's got his hand behind his back too. I'm in a small town. People here are kind, I would say. Farm community. I don't know everybody. I'm not that well acquainted. It's a little hard for me to get acquainted, mostly because I stay inside and do art. But the people at the bank were sure nice to me today. Alright. So he's got shorts on. And this is all going to be painted black anyway, so I'm not going to worry too much about the facial features. I just want to get his head in there. And I'm more or less just talking to myself, hoping you guys are listening to me. Now let's give him some feet, some knees. Looks like he might have socks on. No, his socks are ankle socks. So he's got some knees here. He's a little bit taller than the other little fella. But I'm not sure that this fellow is just as tall. Maybe I'll put him down and this guy a little bit higher on the page. But maybe by the time I get his feet done, he'll be tall enough. He's got ankle socks on. And here are his shoes that I struggle with. And this leg here, ankle socks on here. His shoe comes this way. He's got, looks like he dropped a shirt or a jacket or something on the ground. Give him a, there. Just kind of get the basic outline of him. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Hi, Patricia. Welcome. I'm sketching little figures, these little figures from the picture that Nancy sent. Now I'm going to do this little gal really fast, and then I'm going to paint them out to make silhouettes of them. I want it to look like their backs are to us, facing them. So all we're going to see are their backs, but their backs are just going to be silhouettes painted black. And they are sticking their tongue out at themselves. That's my concept on this page. I still need to sketch this little gal. I get the biggest giggle out of her. I love her expression, but I'm not going to put her expression on here. Just kind of lightly sketching her out here. I don't even have to make the hands too detailed because that's all going to be silhouette. What I'm more concerned about is getting the head, and she's got kind of like a little bob haircut. Ooh, I'm not sure that that's gonna, she's got bangs, kind of comes this way. Maybe if I just keep going here. Might have to redo her head a little. I'm not sure I'm happy with that. But it's going to be painted over anyway. And then her hand, what is she? Her hand, it looks like she might be holding a purse or something in her hand. Right in here. So, and then she's got a skirt, a dress. It looks like a jumper dress that she's wearing. And don't worry about her face in here, because that's all going to be painted. This is all going to be a silhouette. All I'm really worried about or concerned about is getting the shape here, a basic shape. I don't want her too fat, so let's get it a little. She's not fat, Meri. And her hand comes this way, and she comes down this way. There, she doesn't look as bad there. And I'm just doing scratchy sketches. And then she's kind of standing with her feet together. So they'll be painted out. And she's kind of leaning. She is leaning against this wall, so she's kind of leaning that way, but I don't have her leaning. I got her more straight. And she's got some socks on. Just kind of make little scribbles for her socks here, and her other foot's this way. I am wanting to leave some room here between her legs when I paint them out, but I'm not sure that's a good idea. but they'll all be black if I don't. I'll deal with it later. Just give her some shoes. Okay, now I am going to reach, oh, maybe I have it out here already. Will this brush work? I think it will. I'm going to start out with these fellows. I think I did a better job on them than I did on her. And I'm going to grab another piece of paper here. Start out here, and I'm going to grab some black. So what's going on? Let's see. It's getting dark in here again. I'm going to hate to see. I'm hating to see winter come. I'm loving the days where we have it light until 9:30 at night. Now let's see if I can just kind of paint, hopefully, silhouette. Gonna have to kind of use your imagination here. And I'll be cutting these out too, so I'll be trimming alongside of these lines that are left. And I'm hoping this works. This is my concept anyway. When I was thinking about what I wanted to do on this page, this is what I came up with. So we're having a parade tomorrow, and I was sitting thinking about going shopping tomorrow, and the band started. The band marched by, the high school band. So I dropped everything, and I grabbed my phone, and I was going to take a video. And I could have, but I thought again, and I thought, I'm not sure I can do that. So I didn't. I'm not sure they would have wanted me to. Maybe in the parade I can video them. So I just stood and watched them go by. It's kind of fun to listen to the young kids out marching on the street. Small town. You have to think small town here. And I thought all this was going on last week. Last week they had those airplanes. Oh my, the airplanes were going over. I don't even know what it's. It's a car show tomorrow. A vintage car show. I won't be going to it, but it's a big deal around here. And they're having a parade. And I don't know what all. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Maybe. Because I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut out so those ink lines on the outside won't show. So he'll be standing here looking at himself. We're having a car show also this weekend. It's called Back to the 50s. Cool, Lucia. Wow. We could almost be sister towns. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. Yeah, I start at 7:30 Central Time. How small is small, Mary? My town is less than 200. Gosh, I would imagine it may be a little bit bigger than that. I have to look to see how big, but I cannot imagine this town being any bigger than 300 or 400 people. But you know, wait a minute, let's see what. It's way hot, too hot to go. Yeah. Hi, Carol, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome. I was out today, and it's going to be in one of my other videos, but I'll give you a hint. It's to do with urban sketching. And there is actually 11 o'clock. Mid-morning there. At least it's not 11 o'clock at night, Michelle. There's actually a lot of interesting things in small towns that I think that newcomers to a small town, I'm not really I've lived here now for a year, I've been in this area for a year, but I'm kind of a newcomer. But even people who lived here for years tend to when I say they've lived with it all their lives, so they just kind of live with it. I mean, they know it's there, and people like myself don't know it's there. So it's kind of fun to go exploring, and you would be surprised all the interesting things there are in a small town. So, yeah, let's see. There's nothing like some of these small town functions. We went to, they had a community Thanksgiving dinner last fall, and that was, it kind of surprised me. My brother wanted to go. I didn't know. He said, let's go eat turkey. And I go, oh, okay. And it was really kind of a nice Thanksgiving meal. And they have, they just this year got enough money together to get one of those electronic signs, you know, that digital signs where they flash all the activities that are going on. And that's kind of nice, because it used to be these small towns had small town newspapers, and that's where all the gossip, you know, came in, and you knew what was going to happen. Well, there's a newspaper, but it's more of an area newspaper. A lot of people say small town when it's 50 or 10,000. That's why I asked. Yeah, and that's true. And that's really more like a small city, if you ask me. Yeah, this is just a small farming community. It used to be, in the 1940s, they had a World War II air base out here where they trained pilots. And the air base is still there. You can drive to the north part of town and you can see these barracks where the military lived. And some of the barracks are dilapidated now, but some of them, people live in them. And you can, I actually went out there, I had a laugh because 43,000, wow. It's growing, Janet, right beneath you. I went out to the air base because I wanted to see this old World War II air base. And the airstrip is still there, and I think that there's kind of a building that used to be like the air controller, but the runways are still there. And so I was in my car driving up and down the runway. And when I later come home and told my brother, and he said, you know, they still use those runways. I go, oh. It's a good thing I didn't get hit by an airplane. But it's really interesting to think about our part of the country in World War II. We're in Nebraska. We're right smack dab in the middle of the United States. Well, I say that figuratively. I'm not sure it's the exact center of the United States, but we are a Midwest state in the center of the United States. And they built these air bases here, and in a town not too far from here, they built a Navy ammunition depot where they built these bombs, and they located them in the center of the United States because at that time in our history they would be difficult for an opposing army to destroy. And in fact, I was reading, I like to read about this. I think it's really interesting history. And I was reading about it, and our part of the country was actually on Hitler's hit list. And I was commenting to my brother, I said, what if we would have lost World War II? My mother and father both worked at the Navy Ammunition Depot. That's where they met. They got married. I'm going, it really would, Anne. It really would. I'm going, what if Hitler would have bombed the Navy Ammunition Depot and it would have killed my mother and father? We wouldn't be. Or if we were, if my mother and father would have survived and had us, we might be speaking German now and not English. And it's really interesting to think of how these things in history play out, even before we were born. And yeah, I kind of like to research World War II in a town not too far from here. And in fact, I worked in the town not too far from here when I was in high school. I worked in their nursing home, and they had a World War II air base. And actually, some of the pilots that were trained there were actually pilots that flew the plane that destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, if that isn't interesting, I mean, that wasn't the whole crew. It was just some of the men that were trained there. And I'm going, I never knew that. They never taught that to me in my high school history. And there's just lots of interesting little facts about your communities that you don't know. I mean, they can't teach you everything in high school. And being a part of this community now has really... Let's see, Carol says, I grew up in an East Coast town where there were boats off the coast and 2 Marine bases. Yeah. Isn't it interesting history? It interests me. U-boats. Are you talking about foreign U-boats, Carol? I'm going to turn my lamp on because it's getting dark in here. I'll try to aim it away from the German U-boats. Scary. Very scary. Probably more scary to the people at that time than to us, but yeah. And you think about now, we hear on the news how, you know, there are Iranian and Russian planes that fly close to our American planes, and, you know, just things like that. It's the same concept. But then going back even further than World War II, I was reading about the Louisiana Purchase. Nebraska, which is the state that I live in now, is actually a part of the Louisiana Purchase. And I was telling my brother, if they would not have gone through with the Louisiana Purchase, we might be speaking French now instead of American. I mean, we bought it from... we bought it from Napoleon. The Louisiana Purchase. Napoleon sold Alaska and all the land south of Alaska in the Louisiana Purchase because they needed to raise money that they spent in a war. France did. And I'm getting kind of, let's see. So I like to read about history, and I kind of like to think, I kind of like to say, what if? What if that Louisiana Purchase never would have happened? What if Nebraska would have never been a part of, I mean, Nebraska was a part of it. What if this part of the country would have never been purchased by the United States? I'm going to kind of leave that area white. I need some more black. I want to give it more short. So I do like to, I'm kind of a history buff. I'm not an authoritarian history buff, though. I just like to read about it. I wouldn't ever claim to be an expert in it. Now, let's see, I'm going to give his sword here. Kind of here. I might have to trim that up a little. Oh, that's good enough. I'll fussy cut him. And you know what? I've been going for an hour and 15 minutes here. Let's see. Yeah. No, Michelle, I am using Apple Barrel craft paint. Well, this is the blue. I have black. I have black. That's what this is. Let me grab it here. I have Apple Barrel craft paint put out by Plaid Enterprises. It's just a plain craft paint. Inexpensive. I buy 8 ounces for $2.50 at the Walmart, where I get it, and 2 ounces for 50 cents. Let's see if I can clean this gal up a little. Yeah, I don't mean to bore you with my chat, but all of this started because of the parade tomorrow. They still fly those airplanes, though, out there on that air base, and I was driving my vehicle on the runway, thinking I was so smart driving on this old World War II runway with my car. I was lucky I wasn't hit by a plane trying to land. And this is very sketchy here. What I'm doing is painting some silhouettes of these children. And I'm doing it very sketchy. I want them to, I'm going to cut them out, and they are going to be looking at themselves and sticking their tongues out at themselves. For those of you who came in later and wonder what in the world I'm doing here. But then I was at the library, not today, last week in fact, and I found this fascinating book, and I think I was talking about it in our, either in our Google chat or here. It's called, the name of the book is Hidden Figures, and it's all about human computers and how they used people to do all these computations before they had computers to do them. Langley Air Force Base. It's very fascinating. I'm going, how did we not learn about the, well, we didn't even learn about computers in my high school because I hate to date myself, but I imagine computers were known about then, but the desktop computer wasn't around when I went to high school. Anyway, this book is all about human computers. Fascinating. Totally fascinating. And they'd have these worksheets that they'd work on, and they'd pass the worksheet. Like they'd have one group of people that would do addition, and that they were good at adding. So they did all the addition, and there was another group of people that liked to subtract. So they did, you know, computing's basically adding, subtracting, multiplying, long division, and then you get into the computations and all that difficult stuff. But they pass those worksheets to the different groups. Did you see the movie, Carol? Yeah. I'd love to see that movie. I would love to see that movie. The book fascinated me. I'm going, how did I miss learning about this? I'd be at the bottom. Me too, Michelle. I'd go, somebody needs to check my work. Although, basic math is not hard for me. I'm going to dry these off a little. Basic math is not hard for me. But you get into all these calculations and physics, and I loved geometry in high school. I loved geometry. I'm good at logic. I loved proving all those theorems in geometry. I was good at that. So, geometry, if I had to take math, geometry probably was what I excelled at. Whoops. Let's get this guy out of the way. Let me tear this off because it's gooey. Let's just move him before I put my book in it. But I'm good at doing that. I'm going to set this side aside a little, make sure that these still got a little wet on them. And then I'm going to cut them out and glue them down. I can't count money. Neither. Well, Michelle, I'm getting better at it. What was the name of the movie? Was the name of the movie the same as the book? The name of the book was Hidden Figures. And I'm not sure if the movie was called that or not. Yeah, Hidden, H-I-D-D-E-N, Figures, F-I-G-G-U-R-E-S. Hidden Figures. Really fascinating. And there were all types of people who worked as human computers. I mean, there were men and women, white men and white women, and black women. Now, I think the book concentrates on the well-known black women who were mathematicians and taught math in their high schools, but they didn't have the same chance because of the segregation and everything that was going on in that time in our history. So it really gave them an opportunity to shine with their skills. And what's really interesting, once you read the book and then start researching it online, I mean, there are other sources of information for this. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner was in it? I've got to see that movie. I have. How old is that movie? How did I miss that movie? Well, I was probably working. I'm going to cut this off. This year? Oh. Huh. Well, I haven't seen it in our local theaters. I wonder if I just missed it or if it just hasn't been here. It's still on DVD and Redbox. You'd love it. It's on Netflix. I don't do any of those. I imagine it will be on YouTube eventually. This year. Michelle, that's funny. Working Mary. Actually, I haven't been working this year. I was thinking maybe a couple years ago. This year, I don't have the work excuse. I'm kind of way out in the boondocks. That's my excuse. Accessibility. Let's see what's going on here. Concentrates on their work for the space program. Yeah. Can you imagine running a space program for like John Glenn and those early astronauts, and all those mathematicians relied on human computers and not the machine computers. We are so used to, and that's what I found fascinating. We get out our calculators today, and our calculators on our smartphones and such as that. Although I will say, I'm okay at basic math. I'm not ashamed of my math. I will not say that I'm good at high-level math. But if I took enough courses in it, I'd probably be okay. But I just haven't taken the courses in it. I've got to see what I'm doing. I don't want to chop her foot off. I'm going to go in here and cut out that little area right in there. I need a smaller scissors. I have to show you something. I have it here, if I can find it in the dark. Where is it? Here it is. My doorknob. This doorknob is off of an old farmhouse that my parents lived in, and my brother was tearing down. Oh, I might, Laura. Yeah, slide rules and slide rules were the calculators. Yeah. This doorknob, my brother was tearing down the old farmhouse that my parents lived in. And this was, I got this when I was still living up in Madison, and I was visiting down here in Nebraska, and my brother handed me this doorknob and said it came off of Mom and Dad's old farmhouse. Do you want it? Of course, I said, yeah, I got to have something to remember them by. So I keep these little embroidery scissors in it. Sometimes when I display it, I'll wrap a little lace around it. But it's my scissors holder is the doorknob. So you like the sketchy areas around there. Okay, well, they're easy enough to put back in when I glue these down. So she is going to be staring back at her. I still think I need a little space in between her legs on this, because otherwise it'll look like she's got one fat leg. So I'm going to leave it like that. Actually, she should be like this. I should be painting her black this way. And in fact, I think I will, because she should be staring at her and she's sticking her tongue back out at herself. So where's my paper? Let me go back over here and get my painty paper, and I'm going to paint her black on this side too. And get that real fast here. Are y'all getting tired? If you need to leave, feel free. I am at an hour and a half. Usually I don't spend this long on a page, but I've been yakking. I've been chattering. Now see, I don't have that white line on this side. Let me move this. It's wet. And she's got one big leg here. So I'm going to trim. I don't know if I like that. What's this? Paint's wet. I'll probably have to touch it up when I'm off camera. But look at that. Isn't that fun? Okay, I'm going to kind of set her aside and let her air dry a little and cut these fellows out. Actually, I think I can put him here, and he still kind of looks like he's looking at himself. We'll see after I get him cut out. So you like the scratchy lines on here, huh? This is really something I could be doing off camera later. I don't want to go too long. I don't know if Nancy, I haven't seen her say anything lately, but I haven't been following all the chat. If Nancy's still in here, I want to thank her again for this wonderful photo that she sent. I just fell in love with the photo the minute I saw it. And, oh, hi, Nancy. She's still here. And, well, you know, I'm going to stop this because I want to show you the book that Nancy sent. I'll finish this offline and do a video of the finish tomorrow. But what it will be is there'll be silhouettes of these, and I'll probably do a black border around here, and they'll be looking at each other, sticking their tongues out at each other. That's the concept. This is still wet. I'm going to set it aside. I want to set this aside. I could work for 2 more hours on that. And set this aside and show you this book. Yay. Nancy, thank you so much for this book. I need a little bit more light. A little bit more light without too much glare. Let's get my scissors out of the way, ink pens out of the way, doorknob out of the way. This, let me zoom out. It is so sweet of her. Just so good of you to think of me when you saw this. Oh, well, it takes a special person to do that, Nancy. And I know I said it in the video. I'll say it again here. It just touches my heart. I just thank you because this is perfect. This is just perfect. And I opened it up and I said, look at these black and white photos right here, right starting. And then I looked at this and sure enough, I flipped to, and I don't know if I can do it here. I can't because I got it marked there. But this picture is a large picture in here. But let me show you the picture I was thinking about working on tonight, but I'm not going to start it because I've already been going over an hour and a half. But this is one of the pictures I want to work on. I just love this. And I was wrestling with, do I want to paint these out? And I come to the conclusion that no. Carol, thank you so much. Watch for the finish of this, and thank you for coming. And Laura, you dozing off? If I could poke you, I would. Good night, Laura. Good night, Carol. Thank you for popping in on me. You can watch the rest of this video. It'll be live after I'm finished. You can, if you want to see how we ended it, bop to the end of it. This is, I think, the first picture I'm going to do in this book. And rather than paint these photos out, I think I'm going to bring this white board of this house over here and maybe leave some of this green striped, but I don't want, light is, it's dark in this room. If I don't have the light, it's too dark, and if I have the light, it glares. There. This is kind of like a green and light gold stripe. I'll leave some of that, but I want to bring these white boards across here. I don't know if I'm going to leave all this text, but what I was thinking about doing was how, you know how I drew those silhouettes? Only I'm thinking about doing larger sketches of like this man on the little tricycle and just kind of drawing it out here. And maybe one of the cats. I don't know if I'll do both cats here. And these are young boys. It looks like they're picking potatoes or something. I'm not sure what they're doing in the potato. Digging potatoes. You dig for potatoes. And then over here, this is so cute. I love the text here. It says, I could not imagine why my flower box geraniums kept vanishing as soon as they bloomed. Well, that's why. And I love the red geranium in the red chair. I love this photo. So I think this is going to be the first page that I'm going to alter, but I'm going to alter this book in the same way that I'm altering that Childcraft encyclopedia. I'm not cutting out of this book. No way, no how, no ma'am, no sir. And I think I'm going to go through and pick out areas of the text. I don't want to paint out all the text on here because I think this text lends a lot of explanation to what's going on inside of the photos. So I may highlight certain areas of the text. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to approach all these pages, but I'm going to do reverse collage in this book. I am just in love with the photos in here. And here again, I'm working off of the premise that this is an altered book. This is for personal use. This is nothing that I'm going to sell. This is nothing that I'm getting financial gain off of. So that's why I feel free using it and showing you why I'm using it, how I'm using it. Here's a picture of that. I just love the picture of this little guy. And in fact, if I can find it, I'll show you a picture of my older brother when he was this young. And this little fellow is a spitting image of my older brother at this age. I had to do a double take. I had to do a double take because that looks just like my older brother when he was this age. I just love that picture. So Nancy, thank you very much for this book. And she sent me Daddy Vans. Daddy Vans, a brand new can of Daddy Vans, and beautiful napkins and all those glue book images. Well, that's what I'm calling them, all those images that she cut out. So generous to let those things go. It just touches me from the bottom of my heart, Nancy. Thank you so very much. So with that, I've been going over an hour and a half, and I think some of you are getting tired. This is my aunt light. I'm going to pull it to the back. I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to see how dark it is in here. That's how dark it is in here. You're a hoarder? Well, I'll tell you, if you share like you've been sharing, I have no worries about you hoarding. That was a very generous gift, and it is truly, truly appreciated. And I'm going to be sharing these in my videos. Good night, Lucia. And Janet, good night. You all have a really good weekend. Be safe. Enjoy your time, and I don't know what else to say except for good night, everybody. I'm going to turn it off now. Good night.